Alright guys, full disclosure, I freaking loved episode 70 of season 3. Like, I did like episode 69, of course. I thought it was a great way to reintroduce us to this story, catch us up on the characters, and just sort of ease us back into what we know and love. But episode 70, bro? It was everything I could have wanted from this game. The whole point of that ending cliffhanger with Yasracha and his gang and all that was that he wanted to do a game of like individual battles. And then once episode 69 came around, like I was worried that the individual battles would be lost and that maybe it'd be more of like a game where you fight monsters and it's not really as individual as I thought it was gonna be. But then I still had hope because they still mentioned the individual battles and whatnot. And then this chapter came around and bro, I just love it. If you guys don't know, I love side characters and I have so many high hopes for what SIU is gonna do with these battles. Okay, so the game has begun, right? We finally get more of a visual explanation of the rules because we got the gist of it from episode 69, but now we can sort of put an image to what we've been told. So Bomb and the captains have to move forward a certain number of spaces every turn. And the whole thing with the captains is that they have to encounter these like prisons, these cages that contain battles that they have to fight, and they don't have to fight them, but if they want to reach the end by the 20th turn, they pretty much do have to fight them. And this is actually bringing about a really interesting part of this chapter, and something I didn't expect at all, and that is Yasracha's a prick. Dude, Yasracha is just so evil because he's basically forcing Bomb and Yama to fight these innocent species that are just trying to become free. It's not their fault that they're in this situation. Yasracha used his mind control to take over them, which brings about a really interesting point about his mind control. I'm gonna make a theory about this, so definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more about that. But one way or another, Bomb has to kill these creatures that had nothing to do with this game or with Bomb's goal. They're just trying to fight for their freedom. From a story perspective, I do really like this because A, it makes us hate Yasracha even more, but B, the most important thing is it gives Bomb a really good motivation, a really good growth for his character. You know, I feel like he's somebody who is gonna do this. He's gonna kill them, which is horrible. You know, he's done killing before, but he's never killed like innocents. And I think he's gonna do it because he is a strengthened Bomb and a resolved Bomb, and I think this is gonna help him grow and realize it's not his fault. He's doing all that he can do, you know, and I think he has to put all the blame on Yasracha and none of it on himself. I think it's gonna be good growth. And even Yama too. Yama sees a lot of himself in the creatures that he's fighting because they are just like them, subjugated, mind-controlled. He can feel for them. A lot of his friends are captive by Yasracha. He saw Kanzan die because of Yasracha right in front of him, and I think he can relate to that as well a lot, so it's gonna be tough for him too. But then we also get this line from Yasracha. It's not necessarily spoken outright. It's one of these like lines that aren't in the bubble, and he mentions that he has a secret sort of surprise for Yama in one of these cages, one of these like prisons. And my theory, this isn't like a crazy theory or anything, right? My thoughts on this is that Yasracha is going to force Yama to kill one of his own canines, because if you remember earlier in episode 69, Yasracha said, even if you go save the hostages, the canine hostages, you're not going to be able to save them all. And I think what he could have meant by this, and some of the comments made me think of this too, is that he's going to put Jordan or maybe Verdici in one of these prisons, and Yama is going to have to kill them to move forward. Now, I don't know if he'd do that. Maybe he realized that he has to. It would be so tragic, and it's something I can see Yasracha doing 100%. So I don't know, we'll see. Yasracha seems to be so confident in the way he's like maneuvering this game, which makes me think he has these trump cards, like putting, you know, good guys in there and innocents in there that they have to get through. It's gonna break their morality. It's gonna break their resolve, I should say. And I think it's gonna be horrible, but we'll have to see. But then we get to, in my opinion, the most exciting part of this chapter, and that is the other participants, everybody else who isn't a captain. We find out they're gonna be playing a game called Cat and Mouse, and basically they have to kill these mice that are in the cat tower, and if they kill a mouse, they get to basically teleport to one of the captains and basically help them out in the game, I assume. And I really, really like this because it gives us that one-on-one focus that I was looking for. We get to see a lot of these side characters stepping up, We get to see Love surfing the waves, Doan and Cha and Karaka, they're handling the waters that are in the tower, but we especially get some focus on Han Sung-yu and White. I love that we get Han Sung-yu focus. First of all, I love that he's even in the game. It's great. You know, he's letting himself get carried away by the waves. That's his strategy, which I think is very interesting. But then we get to White, my boy White. And he's going to be fighting this guy named Yoreo. Yoreo is one of the division commanders that we saw from like Borik's perspective in the last chapter, one of the 4 commanders that is part of the new squadron. And Yoreo seems to think that he counters White because Yoreo is like this human experiment created by the workshop because of course the workshop creates everything that's even remotely evil. And he's basically, the way he's created and the way the workshop went about like manufacturing part of himself is that he can counter White because White's blade moves differently. It basically breaks the laws of physics, and because Yoreo is like human but also not human, weapon but also non-weapon, it like doesn't necessarily apply to him. He catches the sword with his 8 hands, you know, and I really like his design. I think he's super interesting. He looks kind of intimidating, but I just want to see White, you know, I want to see a good fight. I think White's gonna win. I think he's definitely gonna win. But I want to see a good matchup. I want to see them go back and forth a little bit, and then I want to see White just chop this guy up. But overall, that leads us to question, like, what other battles are going to happen, you know? One of my theories is that Mule Love is going to fight Nanatona. I heard this before, and I think this just makes total sense, because Nanatona is the mouse, you know, person, and Nanatona is not a high ranker. Regular ranker. Mule Love is also just a regular ranker, so I think it'd be a good matchup, but also I could see this funny scene where Love sees Nanatona and thinks, oh, I found the mouse, and tries to kill Nanatona, and Nanatona's like, I'm not the mouse in the game. I think that'd be really funny, and also I forgot to mention, Han Sung-yu is fighting Haracha, which I knew was gonna happen because if you forgot this, Haracha has always been wanting to fight Han Sung-yu. When they first met before, I think it was during the Wall of Peaceful Coexistence, you know, he was specifically like, oh, I want to fight that guy, the blondie, you know, he was always pointing out Han Sung, and Han Sung was like, who the frick? And I just love that he's fighting him now. I want to see how that goes, so it's exciting stuff. But overall, the chapter was absolutely fantastic. That was the main stuff that went down. I gotta say, the art is spectacular. SIU and his assistants do not disappoint. You know, we're back at it, and I just absolutely loved it. All right, and we also have SIU's blog post for episode 70 of season 3. I'm not gonna pause as much as I did before. I'm gonna read through it and then basically mostly comment afterwards. But right off the bat, this picture of White, I actually saw this floating around on Twitter. I mean, I'm straight, but dude. All right, SIU says here, hello, today's drawing is White tying up his hair as he goes into the bath. Despite the weather heating up these days, White is always bundled up, so I stripped him down a little. Let's go. Actually, this is all part of my scheme to strip a male character this time and put a female character in a swimsuit next chapter. That is sneaky, bro. SIU, I see what you're doing. I mean, bro, wait, who's it gonna be? Now, okay, I'm really curious, bro. It's kind of exciting. My afterwards doodle is for practice, so I try to put them in more revealing clothes or try different style of clothing on them. But it's not easy when you don't have the time. Not that I'm exuding free time right now either, poor SIU. Actually, one of the reasons why it's difficult to write up afterwards these days is actually the preview chapters. I get confused on what the content is for the newest chapter. That makes total sense. Even if I get feedback, it's hard to edit preview already made preview chapters. So it all kind of lost meaning too, so there's that matter as well. In this chapter, we have the characters in the field starting their games split up in multiple branches, and the games in the cat tower, right? There is a lot of content in the preview chapters, and that's how it's going to be for the next few weeks. I'll probably need to dial it back at some point reasonably, yes, please do. But since there's so many characters and there's so much story I want to cover quickly in a hurry, I wanted to come back with plenty of content. Thank you, SIU. Well, progression always feels slow, and content may always feel short. The most important thing is fun, after all. It's not easy, that's true. In regards to White's sword, okay, well, like all swords of the REA family, there is the matter of it being uncatchable due to unpredictability as well as due to strength. As I said, it literally in the release, it may be a predefined laws of the tower that exists beyond the laws of physics. Say what? It's just like I said before, exactly. The Tower of God, in a sense, is a world where a game-like system is blended into a real world, so we can have expressions like that. Like I said last week, blog-based afterwards may be going away soon, as early as next week. It's okay, it's gonna lessen his workload. Currently, I've been posting on Twitter, simple comments and doodles, but I may move over to Instagram in due time. A lot of my readers use Instagram after all. Hey, let's go. I made a new account, but I have no idea what I'm doing, so once I get the hang of it, I'll make simple comments and post doodles every week. I've posted my afterwards on the blog weekly for the last 10 years outside of a few exceptions. That's crazy. But as the times change and the platform closest to you guys, my readers, change as well, I end up changing as well. Makes total sense. There's the matter of the blog being limited in the things I want to do. The afterwards as a long text post started to lose meaning slowly, as well as it creating a negative impact sometimes. Oh, what? I think social media would hopefully reduce some of those concerns weighing me down. Well, I usually am not even on social media outside of upload timeframe. I will still make my important posts and announcements on my blog. I'll let you know about my social media accounts as I open them up. I'm excited about that. I hope you guys are happy and have a good week. I'll work hard this week and see you in the next one. See you next week. Thank you. No, SIU. Thank you, bro. Why are you thanking us, bro? We're watching this for free. We're reading this for free, unless you get the Fast Pass, which you definitely should. I'm very jealous of you guys. But that was a great blog. And I actually think when he explains it like that, I think that makes total sense. And I think he should do that. He should open up and go to these other platforms. I think that makes total sense. So I'd be totally down for seeing SIU do that. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that's a good move. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe once again for more daily content, mostly Tower of God. Also, huge shout out to the patrons. If you want to support me on Patreon and join this list of amazing people, then you can definitely do so. The link is down below. You get to join a special Discord channel in our Discord server, and you get to suggest videos to me and that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun, so definitely do that if you want to support me in that way. All right, guys, I'll see you in my next Tower of God review. Take care. Alright guys, I'll see you in my next Tower of God review. That was so bad.